Before get started, this week we'll discuss about CoreWeb vulnerabilities by Subham. As usual, before start the session, um, as we are going to discuss hacking stuff, this session purely intended for education and learning purpose, not for any illegal activities or real hacking. So learn as much as possible in an ethical way. So with that note, I hand over to Shubham. Floor is yours. Thank you, Shubham. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you for giving the opportunity, to come this far. So do we wait for students or
No, we can get started. We'll record and we'll send them the link if they really wanted to, listen.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, for today's session, we are going to go with our basic theory and some hands-on practicals, and I think this will help you guys to find your first bug, and I will show a little bit how you can check for the vulnerabilities and the web code things. So I have already discussed a lot about SQL injection, accesses, and other things. Today I will also include some important recon tools like project discovery that I already discussed yesterday, and I mean for the last session. And today's session we will also add Sodan and other recon tools, so start visual reconning. So let's get started. Today we'll do some practical works definitely, and this session will be very interactive. I hope you guys start interaction for this class. So let's start. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah. So the people who came this far, I really want to thank you guys for coming this far and understanding how actually bug bounty platform works, how bugs work, how you can find bugs and exploit them and all these things. So let's just get started. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Shubham, is that possible to maximize the screen? Um,
Maximize, I mean,
I
do you
can
want
see, press F5 to,
do a slideshow?
yeah, now better. Visible. Texts are visible.
Sure. So, core web vulnerabilities and recon tools. This is our week 3 class. And what are the expectations? Basically, we want to move from basic to exploitation, how you can actually do, vulnerability assessment and properly exploit the vulnerabilities. We'll also focus on most common vulnerabilities. I mean, some CVs found in real world bug bounty program, and today we will show you how you can do that too. And then the ultimate goal is understanding the impact. I mean, it's obviously not enough to pop an alert box. You need to understand, I mean, how JavaScript is actually working, what is DOM, I mean, how you can manipulate the object and documents and cookies, what bugs are, how logic works, and what are the user data, why this is so important. So we'll come gradually. What are the core vulnerabilities? I mean, these bugs, I mean, appear in most cases. Like most other examples are SQL injection. I mean, nowadays SQL injection, getting an SQL injection is pretty rare, but getting accesses is still common. And the new bugs are arriving for OAuth's top 10 as they modified from 2021. So there are business logic flaws and all type of application startup, enterprise, account takeover. So these are actually happening. And then coming the high impact. I mean, sorry. For 2025, we saw a lot of opportunities for bug hunters, getting CVs, understanding how things work, what are the impacts like MongoDB bleed, then Citrix bleed, and all other bleeds. And then what is the values because of their impact, their bread and butter for bug bounty payouts. About the payouts, I just want to say that. Very recently, I got a good bounty from Intel, and right now in Q, I am awarded in Q4 Microsoft leaderboard. I'm in 64 rank with 70 case points. So that's great. I'm hoping to become an MBA this year. So I have already discussed about the vulnerability life cycle. I mean, discovery, finding the entry points. You want to find some Grafana endpoints, some Citrix endpoint, some Palo Alto endpoints, and then, exploitation, checking something is working or not, what are happening, some sign up endpoint, to create a account, to check race conditions and all. Then reporting, you have to, understand how things are working. For reporting, you can use the reference for HackerOne. Let's say you found account takeover, and there is some sessions already provided by HackerOne. So go to that report, understand how report is structured. You can use AI also. And then mitigation, the vendor patches the code. It takes time definitely. So until it's patched, you should not disclose the bug. So coming to Sodan. So today we are going to, interact properly with Sodan and check how live things are working live. So Sodan is basically a search engine, but it's very helpful. I mean, believe me, Sodan helped me a lot. There are other tools too, like Hunter and then FOPA. What you can do is you can check the entire, enterprise, that what are happening, what are the structures there, how you can do that, right? And there might be some open admin portals that you can get, some open Grafana portals with lot of data that you can check. Then you can check the versions, and the best thing is Sodan already includes multiple vulnerabilities according to that structure. So Sodan is very helpful for reconnaissance, like finding SSH, RDP, MongoDB database, Redis, sending without sending a single packet yourself. So it's a passive recon, and definitely passive recon is very helpful without noise. And then filter out the targets, what are the ports open, what is actually used in that port, and then some CVs to point out what the vulnerabilities are there, right? And then there is a project discovery. Project discovery helps a lot. Like there are automated vulnerability scanning tools. Even though I use a project discovery manual, recon, because I like that. But you can use like Subfinder, HTTPX, then Nuclei. You can use Nabu, Katana, all these things like JS crawlers. So let's just jump how things are working. Okay, let's say let's start from Sodan. Okay. So in case of Sodan, what we can do is, this thing is called finding the SSL subject CN. I mean, there are some other cases like issuer CN and other ways. Let's say you want to find something about Microsoft. So using this, you can just simply search for all the results present there. Let's say you want to find something that is actually giving 200. So that may be the case. Like there are multiple websites, their actual domain that you can check. Like here you can check Microsoft and all assets. But guys, whatever you do, properly disclose everything, right? Like as you can see, there are for Microsoft there are some PanOS, some Ubuntu, some Windows, some Airways and Synology data. Every structure is present there. You can also search for like Microsoft.com. You can, let's say you try to search for Microsoft.com. Yeah, you will see that there are 89 PanOS and Windows and other structures definitely. So you can remove the 200 and you can check that there might be other cases possible. Okay, let's just remove it from here. Yeah, as you can see, there might be some Windows open RDPs that you can, hack or try to check if there is any vulnerability or not. So we'll gradually go up to those things. So now coming back to the slides. So the explanation of input validation failure, I actually told in the last session that input validation is the most important thing. That in any website, either you find XSS, you find SQLi, you find SSTI, or any type of injection that are clearly connected to that input validation. If the validation is having a failure, if the CSP, I mean contact security policy, is having problems, you can definitely try to hijack things according to your way. And definitely you should try for fuzzing, using a lot of tools like XSS over to try one by one checking each parameter, and you can check manually. So coming to the concept of XSS, today we are going to you know go with in-hand experience. So let's say last time I explained you what is XSS, cross-site scripting. Basically, XSS allows attacker to inject, malicious scripts. Only it happens because the input validation might not be there, something properly not working. In such sense, the code execute in the victim's browser, not the server. And there might be some cases like DOM accesses that is actually oriented, some stored accesses that are actually going to that server. So these things happen. Then the target, unlike other attacks that target the database, right? XSS target the user. I mean, SQL injection attack the database. XSS tries to, target the user. So how you can tell that? Let's say you find a XSS in Instagram, right? And most of the people when open Instagram, they are already logged in. So they have a connected session. So let's say you found a access in Instagram and you send the link to your friends or to your colleagues, and they click it and a pop-up generates. So what it will do is it will give you their session IDs. If you get someone else's session ID, you can use the session to chain it to become an account takeover. So chaining is also important that we'll discuss today. Right. Now coming to the reflected access is the most common type. Basically, it gives a pop-up. As you can see, it's currently live. So today I want all those students, to actually do some manual hands-on testing after this session. What you can do is, mechanism the malicious scripts reflected of the web server, such as in error message or search result. Vectors are definitely often delivered via link. As I already mentioned, you send the link, the person clicks it and a pop-up generates, and their cookies might get chained with a malicious attacker's website, and you can get the cookies. So example is there might be some queries or parameters like search button. You try to check for reflected access, it's happening or not. There might be cases but there will be self accesses. I mean only generated to your client, but you can't create a link. So basically you have to chain accesses, self access to something else to make it more interactive. So about the accesses, so I thought why not giving you a hands-on description, hands-on, like we are going to discuss about the CV. Do you know, anyone knows about CV? What CV is? Anyone can tell me? Yeah. Yes, publicly available. Right, great. So today we are going to show some very recent CVs like 55182, 55184, and then the CV 18101, then 4123. So let's check if we can find anything or not. Right. So let's just come to this. Let's say okay. So let's say, as you know that Netscaler is a way to find the endpoints of the Netscaler is basically a Citrix. starting point, I mean, it can be a locking point. If you search what is Citrix, it will tell about Citrix. Like Citrix is a US-based software company providing virtualization, networking, cloud computing technology that let business securely deliver app, desktop data to users on the device anywhere, like enabling remote work, secure access to your corporate resources. Great. So let's search for this Citrix vulnerability. You can check, like, this is the hash. So there is a way you can search for either Citrix or hash or anything. Let's say you can search for Netscaler AAA. Let's say how you can do that. Basically, Sodan is a tool that will give you all the data present in the internet to give a proper view on how it works. Let's say Citrix gateway, you can search for title, or you can search for this one Netscaler AAA. You will get a lot of other cases. And then there are some points. Let's say facet. This is called facet. You can check, like, facet analysis. With this favicon, you can search for multiple companies, like organization, the websites, um then other issuers, what are actually happening with the with those. So let's say we are going to search for SSL, that I already mentioned. There might be use cases here. So I'm going to show you a live case, like for example, let's say PayPal. Here, as you can see, there are some endpoints for PayPal, and these are actually vulnerable to the recent CV. I mean, you can report it in HackerOne, because PayPal Corp is actually part on the scope of PayPal. I will show it. So as you can see, you can search for Google dorking. You can use like site, and it ends with this, that you can do, like, let's say, do some dorking. What you can do is, let's say, site star.com, and then maybe use some in title or in URL. I mean, in URL parameter, you can search for these endpoints. If they are present, you will get a lot of endpoint. Am I audible? Is there any issue?
You are audible, Shubham.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just go there and check for, as you can see, there are multiple Citrix gateways present here. We can search for that, right? As you can see, there might be some cases for Geo, even UNFI, all these things. So as you can see, this is a part of PayPal. We will search if there is any vulnerability for that. We already mentioned CB 2025-12101. Remember, guys, if you find anything here, you should responsibly disclose all that cases to the companies. I'm gonna tell you how you can do that. Okay, so let's just come to our bug. So as you can see, I've already opened it. We can do that. Let's say you capture this, right? The logon endpoint, and you get a logon endpoint, you send it to repeater, you stop this, and you can actually check that this is actually a part of PayPal and not some random companies, right? Now what you can do is you can use project discovery templates, because they are already there, right? So come to project discovery. I'll also tell you how you can do that, how you can do recon. So coming to the project discovery, you can search for this template, like already a template is running here. So let's say we search for this exact endpoint, and we can check, like, if the bug is actually existing here or not. You can use the nuclei templates also. If you click on run on nuclei, you can just copy the template here. You can see this is the template. You can directly copy the template, and then you can run that with your command, like nuclei t your template, and then the website that you want to check. So you manually check here that the bug actually exists. So my point is, what you can do is understand how CV is actually working. I mean, you should study about that CV. You understand how things are working, because you don't randomly just copy paste the entire thing and run it, because there might be cases that some malicious inputs are here. You try to run it in your CLI and you will get a lot of other feedbacks. So don't do that, right? Rather, what you can do is study about it. Study about all those things. If there is something like CV 2021-2101, check for it. Understand how things are working. Like lab, Watchtower. Watchtower has already presented this case, like it's a Citrix Bleed 4 type. Well, properly not, but this is an exercise, and you can understand the entire thing. How you can do that? What is happening? Is the memory leak happening? I mean, reflected access is assigned, and why assigned? What are the memory leaks? How things are working? So you have to basically understand everything, and then you properly do it. So instead of just copy pasting the tool, you can do it properly, understanding. But automation definitely helps. It will give you a proper reckon, and things will properly work, and you can check for false positives, and then you can do is you can check manually if the exploitation is available or it was just a false positive. Yeah. So let's just come here and check if this bug is actually existing or not. Okay. So I have already done it. As you can see. So there might be some cases that we are getting a document.cookie or document.domain, and let's resend it. So even though it's giving a 302, right? But still, this endpoint, let's say there might be cases where people are actually logged in, right? And you send this link somehow, and they will click on it, and you will get their cookie, or you will get their domain, and understanding the structure, how properly these cookies are working, and you copy paste the cookie, and you will get logged in. So that might be a scenario of account takeover from the Citrix Bleed. So how we can exploit it? Let's just go to proxy, open intercept, and try to log in. Instead of that, you just put that HTTP request and send it. Again, there is a logon point. Instead, you use a CGI logout, because this is the endpoint where the bug is happening. There is a SML response, so you should understand what SML response is, and then some relay state, why relay state is working and all. And then that's a ping result, because I took time. But anyways, stop the intercept, and you can see that there will be a pop-up, right? So this is actually vulnerable to that uh, CB. So what you can do is go to PayPal for HackerOne. I think I am already in Hacker. Yes, just go to the programs and search for, let's say, PayPal. I think, yeah, go to PayPal and check the details if the PayPal cop is actually in the scope or not. If you see that it's under scope, try for, you can see already there. Yeah, as you can see, this is a wild card, so you can actually report this, and I will show how you can report here. Like, you can use their AI. So HackerOne AI is very helpful. You just put the details, you put how things are working. Even ChatGPT can help you a lot. Okay, I can show you after I complete the session. I will show how you can report it. Okay, so now coming to the base here. So as I mentioned, you try to search for these favicons, and you can see that there might be cases where a lot of website is actually vulnerable. For example, let's say some government websites, some other websites, you can manually search for this. instead of this, you can use this same case SSL cert subject.cn and use some like .com, .gov, .edu, and all these sites will be checked if that is vulnerable or not. For example, let's go to any other website. Let's say Visma. They actually had a you know proper working platform in integrity, but recently they stopped. You what you can do is you can mail them directly. Like as you can see that this is actually open, right? So just copy paste it and then try to check it in your custom template or the templates available there. And once you check that if the bug is actually existing or not, let's say match. So definitely the accesses is present. So as you can see, the accesses is actually present here, right? You can see that it is giving a document.domain. So what you can do is go to Visma. I mean, you can check bug bounty program. Yeah, you can see responsible disclosure. They stopped recently from integrity. So what you can do is just directly go to the email and email them. You can do that. So I want you guys to, actually do some hands-on and check for other cases like Palo Alto, like, 551824123. All these things are very important. You understand how the bug is actually working, what CV is related to, and it will be very helpful. Believe me, you can actually find some bugs. Now, for project discovery, what you can do is just directly go to your assets. I already mentioned you about project discovery and told you what companies you can check for. So let's say I want to discover for IBM. So search for IBM.com for the main assets. And then for either you can use the favicon hash, as you can see that you can use different type of filters like hash favicon. So just go there, directly search for favicon, or you can use title because most of the cases title will be netscaler. Just directly go and search the favicon if existing. So let's say you search for a favicon. There will be a lot of favicons there. Just directly search this one. So it's not present here. Maybe that's the scenario. But what you can do is you can use title or you can directly search for AI and let's say the title is netscaler. Is it present? As you can see, the netscaler is actually present. I think yeah. So this might be the case. Just click on it and open this IBM site. Okay. They probably stopped using that netscaler. You can check for other cases also. Yeah, as you can see, the endpoint is actually active. It's alive. So what you can do is just directly copy and try to check whether the bug is actually existing or not. Yeah, as you can see, the bug is actually existing. And there is a pop-up for SVG download. You can understand the template totally from here. So what is happening here? They're trying to put a XAML response, and this will be the connection, and there will be some matches like success true or maybe 302 for that. As you can see, it's a 302 CGI logon, and you will get a matcher, right? Status code 302, and there might be some locations for the schema. Okay, so it's vulnerable. So what we can do is again try to check if the bug is actually existing or not. Instead, you can go directly to this website. Just open that. Okay, as you can see, the endpoint is opening. It is taking some time, no problem. But what we can do is just need it to repeat it. So as you can see, the endpoint is actually live and working. So what again we can do is just directly copy paste this. And okay, move that. Use this host instead of that. My point is, understand it. Just don't do it randomly. First, understand the endpoints, how things are working, and then try to start exploiting, right? So let's say if it's having the same bug or not. So someone is logged in and they have put their username and password and they have opened the, Citrix endpoint. So if you send this malicious request, it will generate accesses from that side and you will get their cookie and you can log in. So that's also a access to account takeover. So let's just start. Instead of that, put your malicious payload. Stop the enter here. Let's see if it's having a reflected accesses or not. Yes, as you can see, there are some cookies. So you can use that cookie and try to log in and you might get a hit for account takeover. So this is very important scenario here. I hope you guys are liking this. What is the impact if not ATO? So for impact, you can always check for GitHub advisory. Like I think it's a medium one. I mean, definitely their target is to chain a endpoint where there is some sign-ups or sign in endpoints where you use their cookies. But definitely a reflected access is always like medium to high. Guys, did you understand my point? Sure. Okay, let's come to the slides again. So what are the things here? You can see this is a Citrix gateway, a reflected accesses that discovered in the gateway in login portal. You can try to exploit that using host parameter alert to attack to inject a JavaScript and then the impact. What are the impact? Unauthorized network access, definitely. And so what I want you guys to do is try to find all these websites, try to find if you found any accesses or not from all these websites. And then report them directly either through let's say LinkedIn, or you can directly message them or email them that I found this type of vulnerability, please fix that you can do, right? And please also tag me if you find any bugs here. Share it with in LinkedIn. So already mentioned the XSS impact. You can do a session hijacking. You can do account takeover. You can even use for this for phishing, right? Let's say some user don't understand XSS, they will just randomly open that, and a pop-up will be generated, and you can take over the cookie. So what is the mitigation? I always told you the CSP is the most important thing. That is content security policy. And then there might be some output encoding, to uh, you know capture this, or there might be some in sandboxing. Input sanitization is also important because I told you everything starts from failed sanitization. Because input, if you get a input validation wrong, this will definitely create a mess. Now coming to the SQL injection, SQL injection I already explained to you guys, like taking over the database. You try to search for some CVs that are related to SQL. You try to check for Sodan. I'm telling you guys this because finding a novel work from your side as a fresher, as a beginner, is pretty hard. So what you can do is instead learn from those CVs, understand how the CVs actually work, and then try to put effort in running this through your burp and not just capturing from CLI. And then you will gradually understand, okay, there is a SQL injection might be present in user agent, or that might be present in some user endpoints, or might be present like in email or some sign up functions, right? You can do that. A risk is obviously in case of SQL injection, getting the database is the most critical one. So yeah, there are some mechanisms, most cases like select star from something, but this actually doesn't happen, right? Anyway, I mean, the things have changed a lot. So you have to, create a endpoint in a way that things are much different and much harder. I mean, if you just simply use a select star from query logic, it might not work. But you can do a blind accesses or a payload input devalidation, or some template injection to SQL injection. You can always do that. Now coming to the command injection, I already explained this in the previous class. Basically, trying to put some commands in the OS, or maybe some cell files impacting, operating system, or some, in between cases like run 0, run 1, or some point intersection, something. And then the criticality is definitely very high, like high to even exceptional. Then there might be some cases for command injection. You can see remote code execution, like trying to ping, then do some etc password that I already showed you in the case. So also about the file upload vulnerabilities, you get a point where you can upload your image, but instead of uploading image, you try to parse them with your you know PHP or related things. Like web cells attackers upload a script like cell PHP instead of an image. So if the server execute it, they gain the full control. So that's also a case. Now coming to the bypassing filters, how you can bypass the filters like double extension. You can use image jpg dot php to trick the entire server that it's not a PHP file, rather it's a JPG file. Then MIME confusion, like typing and changing it to uploading a PHP script. Then null byte, using percent or other cases like percent 2e. There might be cases where you will get null byte execution as an RC. That also can happen. Now coming to the SSRF. Again, I explained everything in the last session. SSH server side request forgery. You try to use your internal server or your burp collaborator to check all the endpoints. So there are multiple videos present in YouTube where they will properly guide you through the SSRA process. So what you can do is, let's say there might be some parameters like redirect URL, and instead of putting that, you can also try it in login.microsoftonline.com, or maybe login.microsoft.com. So mostly when you try to mm, go to a page and try to log in with your Microsoft Entra ID, you can get a redirect URL. So let's see your documents are valid, and you put that, and there might be attackers who can change the redirect URL to directly the malicious attacker's website or your web collaborator. And you can try to check if there is any ping or not. If you get ping for let's say HTTP ping for the internal service, you can directly report Microsoft. Then some internal access, obviously attackers can scan internal networks. They can actually then access local host services or read cloud instances metadata like AWS, CGP, Azure, all those metadata, right? How SSR mechanism works, like enter a URL to fetch an image, let's say like this. There might be some exploits. This let's say IP, if the IP is internal, you can check, you can run scans. uh, what are the services? If the services fetch it, you'll get the API keys or credentials. There is a lot of other ways, like you can get like more than 200 type of SSRF. So I definitely recommend you to read all those HackerOne reports to better understand how actually SSRF is working. So there's some internal traffics. As you can see, you try to do SSRF, you do a web service, some internal mails, internal networks, maybe some traffic's blocked by the firewalls. But let's say so you put a authorized traffic, you will get the internal traffic through this SSRF. So there might be a lot of ways, right? So there is a case study. I don't think it's a SSRF case study. This is the RC case study for 2025 55182. Okay. We can discuss about that. I will show you how things are working for 55182. But before that, we can talk about broken access control. I already explained you before that let's say you are a normal user, your endpoint user, but you somehow get the JWT token where there is something mentioned called role, and the role is let's say user, and you change it to admin, and you send the request, and it directly gets you to the admin portal. So that might be a case also. There might be other cases for broken access control. Let's say you want to download something, and the website says you can't do that, you are a free user. And there might be cases where you can directly change someone else's ID. Let's say someone is admin who can download or do action, you can directly change that, and your file will be downloaded. So that will be also case related to IDOR and broken access control. Right. BAC and IDOR are related. So IDOR is basically insecure direct object references. You want to upload any data. Let's say in Twitter you want to create a post, you put a post, and there might be some IDs for your account, and let's say someone else gets your ID or change the ID, and someone else can create some post for your account even without your authorization. So that's an IDOR. Definitely that's a critical one. You can do IDOR in action, like simple but dangerous. Obviously, some invoices, if you try to change the invoice from 1001 to 1002 and you actually get the data of the IDOR, so that will be a very hard case. We can show that in some POCs also. Great. Now some authentication and logic flaws. What is password reset? Let's say you try to open some account, and there might be cases where you click on password reset. I have showed you a proper POC last time for password reset to account takeover. So weakness in how password reset are handled. There might be different cases. Let's say I send some password reset and you also send the password reset. If the timing is same, the password reset, hashes will might be same. So it may depend on the timing, it may depend on some URL parameters. What you can do here is host header injection. How you can do host header injection? Let's say there's a website and there's a password reset endpoint, right? And you send a password reset to your email, and if you do a header for x forwarded to or x forwarded for, and then put your burp collaborator and send it, there might be some cases where you will get in your burp collaborator you will get the code. So that will also be a zero click account takeover through password reset. Then there is a very famous OTP bypass. So there might be cases for OTP bypass, like you know brute force, definitely trying a lot of OTPs, and somehow you get hit to the right OTP, and instead of giving 403 or 40 you get a 200, so you'll get the OTP. So OTP bypass is also a very important case. And there might be some response manipulation. So as you can see, response manipulation, changing it to 403 to 200. Let's say there might be cases where the status will be failure, change the status to success. And there might be cases where the endpoint will be 403 unauthorized. Instead, you do 200 and change the status to success. So that might be a scenario for OTP bypass. Now there is a tab in Bugsuit called sequencer. I think you will get a lot of time to understand what sequencer is. So there is a token called UUID, unique user ID. So companies actually use those UUIDs to track only your account. But UUID, parsing is also a case right now. I mean, people are sending all those UIDs to sequencer to understand what actually is happening. If you can break that UUID or not, right? As you can see, the time-based tokens like reset tokens generated based on the current timestamp, an attacker can predict it. Yeah. So let's say there might be cases for max edges and you exactly put a time frame, so that for that time frame a user can be created. Let's say for let's say uh, 5 p.m. I created an account, and let's say 6 p.m. someone else created an account, and then the created account is connected to the timestamp. So instead of using my own ID for 6 p.m., I use your ID for 5 p.m. And then I try to check for the data or the user account. That will be a scenario. Then there are sequential IDs I also already mentioned. Then also weekend coding like JWT base 64, as I told you, that is also relying under broken access control. So instead of user admin, change it to something else and check if this is working or not. So these can be easily forged, right? And the most important scenario that I always tell people, that chain those vulnerabilities. What you can do is chain your self accesses to uh, DOM accesses, or maybe stored accesses, or chain that broken open redirect to accesses, reflected accesses, or try to chain like clickjacking to other cases, like use token to access an internal API, and then IDOR on API downloads full database. Instead of if you get a IDOR, try to check for the admin ID. So if you get the access of the admin ID, you can obviously get the full details of the all other accounts, and that will be a huge risk, right? So CMS, I mean, kill chain is very important. How you can go for this bug bounty? First is reconnaissance, and that I already mentioned. Try using Sodan, FOFA, Hunter, and all those things. Try to recon, then try to weaponize, and then try to do a delivery. I mean, via email attachment, website, USB drives, all other things. Try doing exploitations. So try to exploit, as I already did in front of you guys. Try to install, you can do a command control actions and objectives, right? So all these things are very related, very important. You should do all those things, right? So I think the perspective, you know you can obviously try for low complexity, and as a beginner you should start from low complexity. There are a lot of CVs present there. You can always hunt. You can use manual nuclei, or you can use automation for that. Try simple logic errors, paywall, right? uh, I mean, okay, simple logic errors pay well, okay, great. Now coming to the repeatable case like CVs, if you find a bug in one endpoint, let's say check all the other endpoints. So this is a scenario you can find it in HackerOne. So that was a scenario from Starbucks where using the Japan's details and cookies, you could log into US's data. So that was a scenario that can be repeatable through endpoints. Then high impact, obviously RCs, SQLi, IDO, these provide you the maximum return of interest. So P1, P2 bugs are there. And now coming to the CV 55182, I think the tabs are complete. So let's check for, I mean, I can show you the methodology. What I do is, you know, For project discovery, I already mentioned you. Let's just go to any case. Let's say I want to search for Microsoft. It's already there. Let's say add filters. You can directly ask AI, and let's say I search for very RS React server component. You can directly search all those things here also, like instead of doing those things. Yeah, as you can see, let's just search it. Guys, are you getting my point? I think what you can do is always check for medium reports, like let's say CV 2025 55182, and search for medium. Someone will definitely explain those things for you. Let's say this one. Like you can read about all those things. What is React to Cell? Why it is happening? When this was found? You know why not just another JS bug? Why it got an RC? What are the endpoints that are vulnerable? You can use firewalls. Even they had a lot of fight for virtual web apps. I mean the mindset, and there might be cases where POCs are present. Let's see. Let's check for other medium. As you can see, how you can directly do this hunting. For example, let's check this one. So definitely guys, use a Vapalizer. Vapalizer is a very helpful tool. It will directly tell you that this is working on which tech stack. As you can see that the person found it in this tech stack, and then try to git clone the React to Cell scanner by asset node, and then found it vulnerable, and then he directly used, I think, GitHub. I mean, Bubsuit has a CV installed here. You can use HackingDB, and then check that yeah, this is actually a vulnerable website. So if that was vulnerable, you could change it to something else. As you can see, so ctfhub.io. So basically execute sync ID, and he got the ID. You can use the cat etc password or something related to that. You can even use your buff collaborator to ping here, and you would get a DNS, or HTTP, because it's internal data. As RC is the hash, you don't need any other thing, but definitely you could change those things. So yeah, uh, I think this is the hands-on experience. You know, you search for, as you can see, I searched for this very RSC. So there were some websites. This is how I got all those RCs in Microsoft. I right now this is closed, but I reported it because, as you can see, there was a RSC present, and I could, get the etc password and the internal data. All of these are actually, I think most of them are down because it was also connected to 55184. That was an, uh, I guess, CV for DOS. Guys, do you have any question? You can interact here. Hello, guys.
Guys, feel free to ask questions if things are not clear. Feel free to ask, if any clarification needed. Utilize this opportunity.
Guys, I actually am really happy that you guys joined and stick to class 3. I really want is, just directly go to HackerOne, report all those. So about the reporting, I can also say some thoughts like, you know, what you can do is open ChatGPT or anything. Let's say use ChatGPT. And what you can do is directly use some, can you show the reporting part? Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. I'm showing it to you right now. So let's say what you can do is you have everything saved here. You just
और आपने
directly
ब्रूट फोर्स
try
करना
to
स्टार्ट कर दिया या बहुत सारे लोगों ने ब्रूट फोर्स करना स्टार्ट कर दिया एक मशीन से करो तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है अगर आपने मल्टीपल मशीन से एक ही मशीन पर ब्रूट फोर्स करना स्टार्ट किया तो आपका जो मशीन है आपका हो सकता है और उस पे जो रनिंग सर्विसेज हैं वो डाउन हो सकती है इसके बाद जिसका मतलब है कि आपकी मशीन पर डॉस अटैक हो चुका है डिनायल ऑफ सर्विस
ओके
बट ब्रूट फोर्सिंग इन प्रोटोकॉल्स पर करके पहली चीज जैसे जैसे अगर मैं HTTP पे ब्रूट फोर्स करने की बात करूं
was there anyone talking, guys?
I think he accidentally unmuted.
Oh,
Can move on.
no problem. Sure, sir, sure, sure. Sir. Okay. Let's talk about the reporting. What you can do is, just directly, tell that, I am trying to find excesses related to CV. Mention that 2025 12101, I guess. Uh, let's say I found a bug in, let's say it's about PayPal, right? Let's say see where the PayPal is. Okay. As you can see, this one, you can write the HTTP request was directly write the HTTP request here. And response was, you can get help from, ChatGPT or any other AI tool. It will directly explain you. And there might be some cases for template, like uh, HackerOne has different templates and Bugcrowd has different templates. You can directly write, that need HackerOne template. Write me a report related this for HackerOne. Like as you can see, the title reflected excessive via SML logout endpoint, and this might be the variant. Then there is a summary, then affected for assets. What are the assets that are affected? Some vulnerability classes like reflected cross-site, and then the POC proof of concept. Definitely the HTTP response, this one, and the observation. There might be some cases for impact, and then relation to this and recommendation, additional notes if you actually need to put. So let's say try reporting this. So how you can report? Let's say what is happening here is just directly search for PayPal Core, right? This one. And what are the weakness? It's reflected cross-site scripting. So you don't know about the CV, yes, I mean CVSS code. So write CVSS here and explain. Or instead you can do is, go to GitHub advisory. Let's say CV 2025 12101 GitHub advisory. You can see there will be a CV mentioned, the moderate level, why it's moderate, why it's these things. So they already wrote something like, you know, attack vector is none, and there might be, privilege required, user interaction is required because you need to send it to victim. Then, the scope is changed because it's changing the user from normal user to attacker to users. Then confidentiality low and integrity low, and there is no effect on availability, right? So then what you can do is just directly copy paste it because it's a md file. And then let's say you put it, attack complexity is low, privilege, let's say low, user interaction required, scope is changed, this is low, this is low. I think I did something. I think none. Okay, so as you can see, it's medium 6.1. Then you just directly, there are steps like what is the title, what is the description, what are the impacts. So what you can do is just directly copy paste it and change the responses, like remove. First you do one thing is copy the title, put it here, and then remove everything from here. You need to write it according to this structure because this means a header. This means, you using a you know URL, and these are the headers, and this is separate endpoints for MD, and there might be impact. So from here, just completely remove that and then put impact here. Also, you can do is that I do is screenshot it and directly put from here to directly here. Let's say I found this bug, and let's say I copy paste it. I use this one, and now it actually generated something in my screenshots. Let's say take this screenshot and put it here. Yeah. So you can check the preview. As you can see, this is, you can also upload all the files. I mean, you have to add the videos here, and then some remediation actions, some your research IP, if you found any credential dump or not. This will generate a duplicate, but at least you guys can try, right? And remove all those extra points from ChatGPT. Like you don't need any additional assets. You can put the remediation here also. Instead of doing that there, you can put it here. So that's how you can create a report. I hope I cleared your point. Hello, sir.
Yes, Shubham. Thank you for
Yeah,
that session. All right, are we good to wrap?
guys, do you have any question? Anything? Okay. I think people understood my point.
Yeah, actually, today's session was quite informative because we have shown end-to-end, you know, how to identify the bug, how you can validate, then reporting part, including AI, how you can write a valid report. You can start slowly with HackerOne, as Shubham highlighted already, the showdown has already the passive recon information available. You can leverage those information to start reporting. Even though if it is duplicate, you can go ahead and start reporting so that you will get used to it, how to write a report, how to report when you find a valid bug on something new. That bug may be high chances you may get the bounty, right? So starting small, here we are hand holding you how to get into this. So use this as a launch pad or a learning opportunity to start small. So before come to next session, probably next weekend, I just wanted to know if everyone in this call, as you are really interested and joined and show up today, you go and use Shodan or any passive recon tool to find a valid domain and report it in the hacker one. So next class, tell us how was your reporting went? Was that duplicate or you end up with true bounty? Share your experience. Also, we look forward to support you continuously. So with that note, we can wrap. I would like to, thank Shubham for stepping in for all the, materials and sharing his experience with live demo. So with that note, I will let everyone go and wish you, all the best and have a good weekend, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Take care
All right. Thank you.
and
Bye.
do hacking. Thank you, sir.